In some respects, I think these have become one of the unsung innovations of modern day. Hi there everyone, it's really great to see you. I hope I find you well. Welcome back to the Loft Up here with me, Jenny Kirk. Now today I'm going to be taking a look at some factory weathering examples that have recently been coming through. And it's something that's kind of passed under the radar. I've not seen a lot of people talking about these, although certainly weathering does seem to be increasingly a big business in the model railway world. We've had weathering powders on the market from Tamiya, Humbrol, DCC Concepts, and also Econ have recently introduced their full range of completely non-toxic weathering powders, so you really are spoilt for choice for different ways of adding weathering to your wagons. But what about factory weathering? It's something that we've seen coming through from the manufacturers for, well, actually more than a decade. And as technology has improved to be able to produce more complex liveries, it's also found its way into weathering as well, available, ready to run, with no effort required. And in some respects, I think these have become one of the unsung innovations of modern day. So I want to show you a few factory weathered examples that have really caught my eye and bring them to your attention if maybe you haven't spotted that these were out there, making your life easier to have some great looking wagons with no effort required. So come with me in association with Trainomatic, makers of DCC decoders and accessories that are designed by enthusiasts for enthusiasts, and with additional support coming from KR Models, who dare to build the models that you want to see on your layout. I'm really looking forward to showing you some of these interesting factory ready-to-run examples that I think are the unsung stars of the model railway range available today. One of the things that's really impressed me over the years is just how far we've come with factory weathering. Now, it's only a few years ago that we were getting wagons such as this, and actually in and of itself, it's really well done. You can see here on this Bachmann wagon we've got evidence of posters or traders' labels that have been peeled off, leaving that horrible paper gluey residue. We've also got the examples of chalk markings written on just to help railway staff understand where this had to be marshalled to go. And again, another peeled label on there. And then all finished off with a little bit of a blow over with an airbrush just to give some idea of road dirt. And actually these in and of themselves are really well done. But manufacturers haven't been resting on their laurels, and I know that weathering has really been in the model railway news of late with the release of lots of weathering powders, weathering washes, lots of tutorials both online and in magazines. But I think the unsung heroes are some of these models coming through from the manufacturers, and in particular Bachmann. And I just want to show you what you can just buy off the shelf without any of the hassle of having to do weathering yourself. And this is a major boon to anybody who maybe isn't confident enough to do this, or indeed just wants to get these kind of effects without having to spend a lot of time doing it. I'm a huge advocate that if something in railway modelling isn't enjoyable for you to do, then it's okay to buy store-bought. And Bachmann really have come on in leaps and bounds. You can see here that on this iron ore wagon we've got the printing of the rust patterns, and this is really actually quite effective. You can do this with a combination of weathering washes and a little bit of weathering powders, and indeed I've actually done a how-to guide on this using a number of different hopper wagons, both from Scale and from Hornby, with some great results. Just grabbing one of those wagons, you can see here, this is the effect done myself using weathering washes, but it can be quite messy, and this does take a little bit of time. With this, we've got a similar effect straight out of the box, perfect every time. and only for maybe a couple of pounds extra on the RRP. Bachmann really have led the way, but it has to be said that other manufacturers have dabbled in these effects, and this particular wagon from Hornby is one that came out a little while ago as an RBV barrier wagon based on the Blue Spot fish fan. Now, one of my criticisms of this at the time was that the overall weathering with the airbrush that goes over the top of the tampo printing I thought was a bit too heavy, and in some respects this has spoiled a lot of that livery application, showing peeling paint and such like on this wagon, plus the patch painting of the BR double logo and some of the tops plates. This could have been realised a lot better, but it does show that other manufacturers do know how to do this effect and can produce it quite well when they want to. And again, wagons such as these are great either for part of a train or indeed just to make your goods yards look really lived in and have that kind of used present look to them. One of the packs which I've got today to show for you is this, which is a special commission from Kernow Model Railway Centre. It's still available on their website. I'm just going to show you the end of the box, 37-238Z. And this is the 16-ton mineral wagons in bauxite weathered, and it is an exclusive to them. Now, whereas the grey wagons are really easy to produce this effect using weathering washes, as I demonstrated with this Hornby hopper wagon, when it comes to bauxite wagons, it really is a lot trickier. And I'm really excited to take a good look at these and just see how well Bachmann has been able to capture the rusting and weathering effect on a wagon which has started out with the BR bauxite colour, traditionally a lot more difficult to weather. So getting these out of the box, instantly we can see that actually there is a lot going on here, and this is by and large a livery application. So this is printed just like any other livery. You could regard this as being some kind of private owner livery. So when we look at those really quite colourful wagons with the liveries of collieries and other factories, these are actually taking that effect, but doing something that I suspect that a lot of people wouldn't have thought to apply to a model, and that is to use the livery application process to create this wonderful weathered and down at heel look. Now this does involve having the model go for several extra passes through the printing process, but actually, as you can see, the effects are well worth the slight premium on the price per wagon, and it's able to replicate the idea of these clean spots where the data panel has been cleaned up and painted and repainted, where we've got the panel here just over the rust, and you can see as well the patterns of dirt as well as the rust captured so perfectly on this wagon. On the interior too, we've got very, very thoughtful choices of colours which really do enhance the look of these wagons. The other side too looks really, really good, and it's all completed with a subtle blowover with an airbrush just to get this underframe dirt principally on the underside, so that it really does look like an unkempt mineral wagon that's led a hard life. The other wagons in this triple pack too are really nicely done to the same level, and I really like the attention to detail such as the chipped paint on the diagonal white line, something which really does bring this livery alive. And I think that the thought that has gone into producing this weathered look, which out of the box, this isn't weathering powders, there's nothing coming off on my fingers. This is an effect that I would struggle to be able to replicate, and you can just buy over the counter ready-made, done every time, without actually risking your wagons with a weathering that might go wrong. That's not to take anything away from a weathering process, which can be really fun and fulfilling, but what you can see here is that it's very easy for those who may be not confident to reproduce these effects, or just want to have something extra added to their fleet, which would be really difficult, such as these sort of scraped away data panels. It's really difficult to produce something like this, but this livery application has got this out of the box, even down to the CP there, where somebody has chalked on the side of the wagon. Bachmann have also produced, over the last few years, quite a few of these wagons, principally in the grey with this differing weathering effect. And I've got a few of the examples here just to lay out for you to show you the range of wagons you can build up in your fleet very, very quickly just by hunting down these particular livery options. I've got 8 here. Bachmann have produced more than this, and certainly if you're prepared to pick them up as they come out, you will not be disappointed by these unique livery patterns. One of the other things as well, which I think is really worth noting, is that each time Bachmann releases a new wagon, it's a different pattern of rust on it. Each of these wagons is unique. They're not recycling the printing effects, and what it does mean is that you can very quickly get some really great variety to your wagon fleet in this way. The final wagon that I want to show you is this, the all-new Van Wide from Bachmann, and this takes weathering in a completely new direction. The base colour of the wagon is actually being specifically picked to look more washed out and dirty. But then we've got these panels here, these little patches, where the original bauxite shows through. This has all been done in the same way that Bachmann have printed those mineral wagons, but it's been applied to a plywood outline van so well. We've got these different stencils on here too, giving it a very unique look. For me, this is incredibly subtle, but at the same time gives a very, very effective weathered wagon that's not overdone. It's so subtle, but it really does add something special to your layout. So all in all, you can really start to see that there's some really great factory weathering available from manufacturers that really takes the hardship out of producing this yourself. And out of the box, you get great results, again, for usually not more than a couple of pounds extra on the RRP, which I think offers incredible value for money. And as these 3 from Kernow Model Centre show, it's well worth keeping your eye on some of the special commissions, because some of these can offer some really great effects which aren't available in the main range but are superb nonetheless. So I just thought I would put together this short video just to make you aware that model railways on a budget, you don't have to learn skills such as weathering if you're not comfortable doing that for your layout. Well, I hope you really enjoyed that video, and don't forget we've got some links down below just to help you out, taking you to where you can try and pick up some of these examples, because I really do think that they are astoundingly good, and it's certainly a sign that technology for completing these model railway items at the factory really has become astounding. And even only 10 years ago, some of the weathering that we're seeing ready to run really would have been unthinkable, and you'd have probably paid a huge amount of money to have it specially commissioned and done by a professional weatherer. But do you agree with what I've been showing you? Do you think that these really stand up to scrutiny? I'd love to hear from you in the comment section down below, and also do share with us any other factory weathered examples that you think are particularly great that you want to bring to the attention of your fellow railway modelers. Really love to hear from you. You can also head on over to Patreon and help support the channel to make the videos that you want to see, and we've got a number of different tiers with different rewards for you. There's also channel membership open, which gives you access to a whole range of perks on the Monday Club, as well as also giving you that early access to the Friday video shared with the Patreons. Don't forget to tickle that like button, share this video, and also subscribe to the channel to be the first to know about new videos as and when they go up. But until next time, this is me, Jenny Kirk, saying you take great care of yourself, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now. Today's video is sponsored by Train-O-Matic, makers of DCC decoders designed to be fully compatible with every manufacturer's locomotive. Visit train-o-matic.com to browse the full range and see what they've got suitable for you. Additional support is also provided by KR Models, daring to build the models that you want to see on your layout. Check out their website today and see some of their award-winning models, as well as their forthcoming masterpieces in miniature. I'd like to send out a huge thanks to everybody who supports me on Patreon, and an extra special huge thanks goes out to Anthony Kidson, Offshore Allen, Michael Lockie, Helen Sink, Gary Lewis, David Quinn, Sparky 107107, George Botterini, Chris Moss, Robert Steers, Sam Yates, Dale Williams, John N from NC, NYMRish, Jonathan Foster, Peter, Clifford Ison, Larry W. Grant, NI Railways 4000 class, Ian Coulson, Alan Dickerson, Eddie Papere, Karen Nichol, Medwin Williams, Crossways Point Junction, 3B Rail, and Jennifer Garrett. Thank you. Without you guys, I couldn't do this.